What's the next brilliant thing?
Penalties.
Oh, okay.
And I know you'll appreciate this.
Yeah, I certainly will.
Fact, but
yeah. Have you ever? Did you watch Soccer Aid? I missed the penalty in the penalty shoot.
I did.
Brutal, man.
Do you know what? I didn't even know that until it was sent to me.
Yeah.
Yesterday.
Stinker.
I was coming out to this, and
yeah.
I looked at the technique.
It's terrible.
Well, I'm glad you said that.
yeah.
I was going to say it needed work. That's all I was going to say.
But it haunts me because I did all right in the game, and I was so conscious. Like, I'm in my realm, I'm half decent, and then you suddenly do a bit of training with professionals, and you're like, right, I'll take 2 touches max. But that was my thing. Like, I was talking to Teddy Sheringham, and he's like, take a touch and give it, and you're like, yeah, completely.
So what should Russ have done with his penalties? What did he do wrong?
I shouldn't have been given the penalty because I was injured. Because Cafu had smashed me.
No, I thought you tried to place it, right?
I tried. I was in between two minds, and that's the problem with penalties.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing.
But I always had a thing when I was a kid. I for whatever reason, I was never great with penalties. I always changed. Yeah. I would change my mind in the run up.
Yeah, there is a skill to it, and that's what I always find it funny, because obviously I took penalties, so people will say, "Oh, you are going to say that," but I speak to like Andy Cole, like, who never took a penalty.
Yeah,
and I was like, "Why?" And he was like, "Just didn't feel right. I wasn't confident enough to do it, but give him a shot anywhere on the pitch, and he thought he would score." Yeah. So like the psyche behind it was crazy. But the reason I say penalties is because there's a weird moment which I hope the listener and yourself know. Whenever you watch a game, like let's say the weekend, Salah gets a penalty. Mm-hmm. Most fans get excited and they start talking. Oh my God, we got a penalty! We're going to score this, and what? And you know, in that moment of like where they're getting the ball or the VAR checks going on, and you start checking your scores on your phone. Just watch the player, and they go into this little. And I did it a lot. You go into this little space where it's 30 seconds max, but they're trying to like compose themselves. Right, what are we going to do? How do we do this? What's our routine? And it's a real quiet. The only way I could probably imagine for yourself is that moment before leaving the back room to go on stage. You know that little quiet bit you have 10-15 seconds before you go on. That's your time. And you can normally tell if the guy's going to score or not.
That's interesting.
In that 20 seconds.
Yeah.
Because if they're flustered and they're talking to everybody, they're probably going to miss because they're not in with what the job is. And
did you? Because I guess it's like mindfulness, isn't it?
Oh,
and did that come naturally to you, or did you have to learn?
No, I had to learn it. I missed my first 2 pens.
Right.
That
Do you know your record?
I think I missed 6 in total.
48 taken.
Yeah.
42 scored. It's a good record.
That's not bad.
6. That's right. I was right. Yeah, 6 in total. I can tell you all the misses as well.
And
I can't tell you all the ones I scored, but I can tell you all the misses. Yeah.
Did you have a favoured spot?
It used to be across myself, so my left keeper's right. I used to go that way,
bottom
corner. Yeah. And then I missed one against Tottenham. We could have won the game. We ended up drawing, but I had a penalty in the last minute, and I did what you did. I was like, smash it because he'll never stand. But it was on Sky, and it's the first time I've ever really thought about the cameras, and I was like, but you'll look really shit if you do that. As opposed to just score, you'll look mint anyway because everyone thinks you've scored the winner. But I was like, try and show that.
Yeah, it's funny.
It was such a weird technique as well.
But you ever sort of taught that, like, as professionals, of like the impact of not just 20,000, 30,000, 60,000 people, but also the millions of people watching? Are you taught how to deal with that? Because that must be such a huge part of it. Because that was another thing. I mean, I took a penalty at Liverpool for like a charity game at half time, and
full house.
Exactly, but kicking the ball, mate, it felt like a lump of concrete.
Yes,
and it was a penalty. It was like fine, but it was the walk from the halfway line was insane because of the enormity.
Can I ask you a question? I won't say who told me this, but I'll ask you first and see it. What was your initial take when you first stepped onto the pitch at Soccer Aid or at Liverpool? What was your fear? Like one of the guys who I know, Harry Pinheiro, said to me, "I've watched football my whole life. Until he played Soccer Aid, he didn't realise how big the pitch was."
Yeah, it's insane.
Because when you're in the stand, it just looks like it's a little small thing. He's like, but how you guys get around the pitch and how you can just kick a ball this far, that far. He said the biggest thing he noticed, his biggest takeaway was, this is massive.
And the speed of it.
Yes.
And this is soccer aid.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
this is, my God, it must be like 100 times less. And yet it felt like,
Yeah.
you know, and you're in this blizzard of pace. So God only knows what, like.
And that's why a lot of the lads struggle when they go into coaching, because we're used to operating in the Premier. Again, there's much higher and bigger players than me, but when you've been playing in the Premier League for a long time, everything is like it's like reactive. Like you've got the ball and you're passing to me, you already know where you're going to run before that happens, so you're timing that. So as a defender, you're going, shit, well, what's a passage to Troy? Well, I need to. Do you know what I mean? You start watching all these different things, and that's why I always find it. You know, when people go, and we all do it, and I've done it loads of times. You're like, he's shit that one, and you're like, you wouldn't last 10 seconds.
Oh, mate. Well, that's the absolutely. It was just like seeing. I played in a game with Clarence Seedorf, and yeah, exactly.
The size of his legs.
But he must be
50?
pushing 50.
Yeah,
mate. Honestly, just gliding around, and you sort of go, like seeing Berbatov control a ball. You're like, Jesus Christ, this is. Well, that's it. But it is that thing where you're looking around at all the kind of non-professionals going, right, okay, like. But it's so. What does that feel like when you score a big penalty?
It's amazing. The best one I've scored was against Wolverhampton Wanderers in the FA Cup semi-final. I won the penalty in injury time, and we was 2-0 down, and we got it back to 2-1. And my kick was literally, if you score, we get extra time. If you miss, you're out. And it was the first time we had VAR in the FA Cup. So I was, I remember practicing it in the week. Like, this might happen. You might get 2 minutes, 3 minutes. What are you going to do? So we were practicing that from the Thursday. And I remember going to get the drink and having a Lucozade, and then I remember going back to the ball. It's the first time I was ever nervous. So if you ever see the clip, I pulled my short up because I was standing there and it wasn't actually shaking, but in my head, my right foot was doing that.
Wow, really?
And if you just see it, like I pulled my shorts up and I stabbed my foot, I was like, fucking it. So if we miss, I'm missing on my terms. And like, so the second I hit it, I was like in. But when I watch it back, like Rudds, who's my friend, John Ruddy, he's at Newcastle now, his hand's there, the ball's here. Like, if his hand's there, it never happens. But as soon as I hit it, I was like, thank God.
Yeah,
and if you see the celebration, I think it's the quickest I've ever ran in my life. Because it was just like a full... It went... And to put it really quickly, because I know we'll go over time, but it's so quiet. And the second I kicked the ball and I see it hit the net, it was like a cinematic movie. Noise just like erupted.
But particularly at Wembley.
Yeah, and we did it in front of the Watford fans as well. So it was half and half. So we had half of the stadium and Wolves had half of the stadium. So that whole half, just like limbs everywhere.
So while we're on cinematic moments, like that, the Leicester goal.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Like that's part of football folklore.
Yeah, I'm appreciating it now.
But presumably... in the game, you're just in it, so your mind is like, "Oh God, we're gonna lose." Penalty save, and so you're just.
Do you know what? Not even the If you really watch it, and again, I'm a sad person. I really watch it. I remember I was with Wes Morgan last night. We was talking about it because he was on the Leicester team, and I remember speaking specifically to Wes, going, "This is big. I can't believe that cheating bastard is. You know, he's gonna win it." And I know Anthony, and I love Anthony now, but at the time. I wanted some volume. But he dived, obviously, misses the pen. And I was like, oh, thank God for that extra time. So if you actually watch, I'm just walking for ages. Like, we've got to probably clear it. It'll be colder.
Yeah.
And then there's like a moment where Fabrizieri's running down, Anya's running down the side. And I'm like, hold on. I might have to start jogging here. So I literally break into that. You know, that thing that we all do at school when they say, go on, start jogging here. And we're like... We're not really going any faster, but our shoulders are going from side to side. And pass it down the side. And then I was like, oh, shit, I better start running. And then I start running. And as he crosses it, and Huggy heads it back to me, I'm probably 30 to 35 yards out. But I realised this is going to drop here and I can make it. So I just sprinted onto it. And as he headed it back, again, similar to what I was saying with Ruddy, it seemed to me like if the goal was normally this big, it seemed like it was that big. It was like you can't miss. It was like my Matrix moment. It was so slow. I was like, just kick it in there.
Yeah.
And literally as it did, I kicked it. Do you remember Crash Bandicoot when you could slow it down?
Yeah.
So I felt like I slowed it down, and then as soon as I kicked it, I just saw Casper go diving past. I was like, oh shit, he was close.
Yeah.
And then again the euphoria. But I went and celebrated with my brother in the crowd, and I didn't know all that madness had happened.
Oh my God.
So by the time I was able to get out of that, it felt like it was 10 seconds. It was probably about 2 minutes was in there. But by the time we got out of that madness and back on the pitch, my shirt was on the floor. No one touched my shirt. Yeah, like the best £7 ever.
I love that.
Like,
I love the idea that your brother after that is just going, I don't know, something like Crash Bandicoot. I don't know. You know what I mean? It's just like grabbing onto it.
And then I went back on the pitch, and I still don't know to this day, with all those thousands of people around the pitch, how my shirt was still there, how nobody went, that'd be a good souvenir.